would be the best mentor for Miles Morales? It's a good question, right? Marvel has announced many projects for the future going forward, so that means more characters to be introduced. Characters like Miles Morales. Miles has been mentioned in the MCU multiple times throughout the recent Spider-Man trilogy with Tom Holland portraying the web slinger. He was mentioned in Spider-Man Homecoming and in No Way Home with Jamie Foxx's Electro making reference to the character, so it's only a matter of time until we can see this character fully enter the world of live-action superheroes. Miles Morales was mentored by Peter Parker, and this is a piece of information that everyone should know. But which Peter Parker would be suitable to mentor Miles Morales? That is the question. Introducing the most recent Spider-Man we have to date. Everyone, I present to you Peter 1, aka Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Now, this is a Spider-Man that is more than likely going to be Miles Morales' mentor for the reason that there are so many similarities towards the Marvel Spider-Man game and what we have seen in Spider-Man No Way Home. Here's a quick list of things that the two have in common. Both universes, Aunt May is dead. Both universes, Feast is introduced. The Marvel Spider-Man game has a similar beginning as the ending of No Way Home, and both have similar suits. Tom Holland's suit at the end almost matches with the Marvel Spider-Man's Peter Parker in the beginning of the game, which is a very interesting thing to point out. Now, what does this Peter have that could make a great mentor for Miles Morales? This Spider-Man has the advantage of experience with working together with top-tier heroes such as the Avengers. Peter 1 had a mentor in Iron Man who brought him into being a part of the Avengers. Having Iron Man in the position for Tom Holland's Spider-Man was great for him, not only for the fact of Tony Stark being his mentor, but also a father figure in his life as well. This Spider-Man suffered many losses and arguably has the most trauma that this character has had to deal with. We know that Miles Morales' father dies fighting alongside Spider-Man in the Marvel Spider-Man game, and since both the game and Tom Holland's trilogy are lining up to be almost identical with each other, and with the way everything is planned out, Martin Lee, Mr. Negative, owns Feast in the Marvel Spider-Man game, so it's more than likely that we will see him in the MCU soon. Having Peter 1 be Miles Morales' mentor would be great for Miles because this version of Peter Parker would be able to help him avoid the mistakes Peter had made to himself, and also with Tom Holland's Peter going up against a cosmic threat like Thanos, he'll be able to teach young Miles important battle techniques, and this is a perfect way to segue into this topic right here. This Peter has a lot of battle experience.
Baby.
Now, this may rub people the wrong way when I say this, but I have a few valid points. So sorry in advance for all the Tobey Maguire fans out there and Andrew fans out there as well. But Tom Holland, even though being the youngest out of the three in Spider-Man No Way Home, actually has the most battle experience. Here's why. Tom Holland's Spider-Man is the only one out of the three that has faced about every level of villains a hero like him has to encounter, from street level villains to entire galactic armies run by a powerful Mad Titan. So with Miles being trained under this Spider-Man, would make it very easy for Tom Holland's Spider-Man to teach Miles how to attack his villains and to become smarter as he gains knowledge for each and every villain that he encounters. This would arguably be the best Spider-Man for Miles Morales to fight alongside with if a cosmic threat were to come into play, because this version of Peter Parker has already had a few rings under his belt with kicking some alien ass. Speaking of these two webheads teaming up together, we can touch on the last topic that makes this Spider-Man a great mentor for Miles Morales, and that is team experience. This is an obvious one right here, people. This is the only Spider-Man out of the three to be a part of the Avengers. He has had all the best teammates that he can possibly have. I mean, come on. When you're a part of the Avengers, you're gonna have some amazing people to work with, right? Tom Holland's version of the web slinger will help share his knowledge on how to properly work together as a team. He would for a fact be the best Spider-Man to work together because even Peter 2 and 3 have said it themselves that they've never worked as a team before. With wrapping up why Tom Holland's Spider-Man would be a great mentor, let's move on into Peter 2, the OG out of the three, the first to ever do it. Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody out there, we have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Now, Tobey is a bit older out of the three and looks like Father Time has made a few stops to his doorstep. In his universe, he's together with MJ, and they seem to be having a very steady relationship with figuring everything out about how they can balance Spider-Man into their love life. But this version of Spider-Man probably is content at this point in his life where he wants to remain Peter Parker and pass the torch on to someone else, someone like Miles Morales. So if Tobey is the one to take responsibility of training Miles, how would he be the best mentor? Let's start with patience. So why this? Looking at Sam Raimi's trilogy on how this version of Spider-Man's story progressed, it seemed that a lot of things that he had to deal with took a lot of time, such as his relationship with MJ. He stated in No Way Home that it took time for things to work out, and they eventually did. So how does this help Miles? Well, we all know that young adolescents are very impatient and are easily discouraged if they don't see results come right away. We know that Miles isn't perfect with his powers right away, but that's where Tobey steps in to help Miles learn to hone in on his skills to fully control his abilities that he now possesses. Tobey would tell him his stories on how he struggled to understand his powers, because in Sam Raimi's trilogy in Spider-Man 2, the story was explained beautifully on how Spider-Man struggled with his powers. Also, I would have to say that this Spider-Man would be a great father figure to Miles Morales as well. Peter Parker grew up without his father, and Uncle Ben was the only thing he had closest to a father. With the way his relationship ended with Uncle Ben, well, it wasn't on the best of terms. Eventually, he had made peace with himself, accepting what had happened in Spider-Man 3, and learned to value the things and people that you love. We know that Miles Morales would lose his father Jefferson Davis in fighting Martin Lee's demons, so Tobey could see that Miles would be going through a similar feeling in loss of a loved one, and learn how to keep fighting and find a purpose to keep your head up and not solve the problem by getting revenge. Because in Spider-Man 3 with Tobey, he showed his arrogance to get revenge on the person who killed his uncle, and that started to cloud his judgment on a lot of things. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man would be more of a teacher and definitely fit the role of being that type of person for Miles Morales to learn from. And overall, this would be a really cool way to close Tobey Maguire's time as Spider-Man completely. Let us move on into the last one on our list. Everyone should know this one right here, the grand finale, The Amazing Spider-Man. Now we have probably the most talked about Spider-Man at the moment, and that is The Amazing Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is one to where we didn't really get to see him at his best until we saw his return in Spider-Man No Way Home. Now fans are demanding to see him back on the big screen to suit up as the crime-fighting webhead another time. But enough of that. How will this Spider-Man be a good mentor for Miles Morales? Well, I gave a brief synopsis on why I think this Spider-Man would be the best mentor for Miles Morales on my TikTok, which by the way, you should go follow me on there. We post quite frequently on that page. So here is the more elaborate version on that. The Amazing Spider-Man explained to the current Spider-Man that he had got rageful and had stopped pulling his punches when he suffered the loss of Gwen Stacy. He explained all the things that he had done wrong, and to tell the current Spider-Man to choose a different path and to not make the same mistakes he did. The Amazing Spider-Man redeemed his moment in saving the current Spider-Man's girlfriend, but he still didn't feel quite at peace with himself. He wished he could have done the same thing in saving Gwen in that similar moment. After all the Spider-Man were done defeating their foes, Jamie Foxx's Electro made reference to Miles saying,
"There's gotta be a black Spider-Man somewhere out there."
But this was only said to Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. So let's say that the Amazing Spider-Man is now back in his respectful universe. With everything that had happened before, he still feels that he can do right in changing his life around and redeeming himself for many other things he may have done wrong in the past. What if he sees a version of Miles Morales and takes him under his wing, because he sees that Miles possesses the same traits as him, not only superpower wise but as a person as well. Both the Amazing Spider-Man and Miles Morales complement each other very well, both giving off cool vibes and almost nonchalant energy when dealing with crime and swinging around the city of New York. I think most of my Spider-Man fans out there can agree that Peter B. Parker from Into the Spiderverse has got some traits that make you think of Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man a little bit. This would be an amazing opportunity to give the Amazing Spider-Man a chance to give Miles all the learning he needs to become a great hero for his world. This would be an amazing way to close Andrew Garfield's story. Andrew taking on the role will help him feel more at peace with himself, help him fill that void in his heart that he's had for a while, and he would be given the brother that he's always wanted, because he has stated before,
I always wanted brothers.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below on what your thoughts are and who you think out of the three would be a great mentor for Miles Morales. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you already haven't, and leave a like on this video. Thanks for watching.